What's going on, everybody? How's it hanging? How's it happen? You guys know this is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast. Hey, everybody, we're into September already. It is September 1st, and you're probably like, oh my God, where did the summer go? It's summer. It always flies by. You know that. But you know what September means, especially for us in the rock and metal community? More tours and more concerts happening once again. Oh, yeah. And festivals as well. Yes, festivals still rolling on. And today we have another band, another artist from the When We Were Hungry Music Festival on the podcast today. Before we jump into it, I want to thank support for this podcast. So first off, screw it, we're just going to say it. This podcast is sponsored by Manscaped. Yeah, Manscaped, the best in below the belt care for all you fellas out there. Oh yeah, you got boys hanging down there? Yeah, Manscaped's got you covered. And I'm going to end up saying this right now. I've been a Manscaped user since about 2020, basically since the pandemic began, because I have been using the Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant. I got big legs. I got gigantic legs. And during the pandemic, when everything got shut down, like the gym was closed, I was like, ah! So I had to find a way to get my cardio in and lift. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to run outside. I'm going to bike outside. I'm going to do all this stuff. But the amount that I was running and biking, I started chafing terribly. I'm like, ugh. Like I was walking bow leg. Like I was like, this town ain't big enough for the two. Ugh. That's why I'm walking like that, because I'm chafing. But then all of a sudden, I tried Manscaped's Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant. And my God, chafing, that's a thing of the past right now. I've been using it ever since, and I stand by it. So as you know, shows are ramping up once again, live shows, going as many as possible, going as many festivals as I can, going to Riot Fest, Larger Than Life, When We Were Hungry. My God, I'm going to need that stuff, and it absolutely is a godsend. And you should pick up some as well, especially if you chafe down there, you don't want to chafe, especially going to some of those shows. Get yourself some of the anti-chafing ball deodorant, the Crop Preserver from Manscaped, and it'll help you out a little bit too. You can get 20% off and free shipping using the code CPP at checkout. Manscaped.com. Oh yeah. You know we're also sponsoring the When We Were Hungry Music Festival happening October 20th and 21st of 2022 in Viva Las Vegas. Yep, Will and Mal from When We Were Hungry Festival. We've had them on the podcast back in April, and they're like, yeah, this is legit turning memes into dreams, pancakes to pit, and now you guys know it's a full-fledged freaking thing. We're sponsoring the festival, and take a look at some of the bands that are on the festival that have been on the podcast. They include Modern Day Escape, Outlier, Varsity, Along Came a Spider, Saving Vice, Palisades, Secondhand Serenade. They're headlining day 2 of the festival. We also have the original Skylit Drive lineup, Tickle Me Pink, the Medic Droid. Why did I drop those names? There's a specific reason why, and you're going to find out in the next couple of episodes. So make sure you join us October 20th and 21st, 2022. Pancakes, Fit, Memes, and Dreams. Go get your tickets now at WeWereHungryFestival.com. Link is in the podcast. And come find me there. Milwaukee Brewers hat, Chord Progression Podcast t-shirt. You're not going to want to miss out. We're going to have a lot of fun. So if you miss Warped Tour, oh yeah, you're going to want to join in on this one. Get your tickets now. I'll see you there. Now to our feature presentation. So I did mention the Medic Droid as part of that, bands maybe on the podcast. So why did I mention them? Because they're our guest today. We had Chris from the band on the podcast, and we talked about a number of different things. First off, how they got associated with When We Were Hungry, how it all went down when it comes to the Medic Droid, new music. Did I say new music? I said new music from them, and where some of the influence come in, the ideas behind it, and we also talk a lot about the amount of different collaborations, music, the potential for all these different genres to blend together, and just the openness of it, being open to all these different kind of music. Variety is the spice of life, baby, and you're going to enjoy this one if you know that variety is the spice of life. So please welcome Chris from the Medic Droid to the podcast. Are you guys ready? Let's go! Oh yeah! Well, ladies and boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast, as we are sponsoring the When We Were Hungry Music Festival, one thing that we're doing, especially leading up to it, is bringing on as many of the bands as possible to be a part of the podcast, to get everybody ready for the festival, and also to catch up with everybody and see what's going on so that you can be like, holy shit, I want to go see these guys live. So this is number 3 of the series, and I want to thank Mal Levy from When We Were Hungry Festival for connecting us, because my God, just makes it a lot easier. And ooh, oh yeah, now we're going to have some fun. So please welcome Chris from the band, the Medic Droid, to the podcast. So Chris, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
What's up? How's it going? Stoked to be here.
Stoked to have you here, man. How's it been going in your life lately, especially as, 2022, we're getting closer to that last third of the year, but also getting closer to the When We Were Hungry festival. So how's it been going on your end?
Yeah, man, it's been good. I'm just working on a lot of art and working on a lot of music, trying to get ready for the festival and working on recording, new music and stuff like that. Working on getting a new record out.
A new record out?
Yeah, new Medic Droid record. So been stoked on that and just trying to stay focused. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's something I was not expecting, especially kind of like taking a look as much as I could into the band, where you guys had the one album that was out in 2008. Then there was really nothing going on there. So all of a sudden, a new album coming out, I'm like, holy shit. God damn, I want to hear about this.
Yeah, I actually was writing a lot of stuff over the years just for, another project. Actually, I didn't plan on making it Medic Droid, and I was just working on, doing a new project, but I decided I might as well make it Medic Droid and just make a new album. It's a lot more 80s pop influence, but I'm pretty stoked on it. I like the direction it's going. It's a lot more evolved in the old sound. There's a few straightforward dancey tracks in it, but a lot more guitar and a lot more just, I don't know, live drum feel,
So something that's got a lot more of that live presence setting to it. So when it's played live, it's you get that feeling that, everything is encompassing around there, and kind of less of something that would be potentially maybe a DJ set or something like that. Would that be
right?
The way to put it?
I think a lot of our older music was more just more I guess I don't want to say techno, but just more electronic, and the newer stuff that I've been working on is just a lot more live band, kind of full band vibe.
And when you say you got some 80s references in there as well, is that especially 80s pop, is you bringing some more that synth wave kind of style to the music, especially?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, a lot of influence from that kind of era,
Oh yeah, and it's take a look at a lot of the things that have been happening in the music industry over the past, just this year, even with a lot of stuff that's gone around from that 80s era of music being brought more into prominence through pop culture, seeing a lot more of these hip-hop artists using more of that synth style, seeing some bands really go a little bit more experimenting with synthwave, and then of course Stranger Things, Metallica, just really bringing more attention to that 80s style coming back in there. So you might just be at the perfect time to add some of that stuff in there as music, add to just the evolved sound of the Medic Droid, and just let it roll. And you never know what might happen with it. All of a sudden you put it out there, and you might get picked up on the next season of Stranger Things.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, no, I've been hearing it in a lot of incorporated in a lot of different artists and stuff, and I think I love it. So I'm trying to put my spin on it, I guess, and not be a straight up a synthwave artist, but definitely take from that 80s vibe, and yeah, that feel,
Yeah, because if you listen to, if anyone listens to, the Medic Droid and what you guys have put out previously, and you think about adding some of that, synthwave influence in there with that 80s style, I mean, the flow of it really ends up fitting out very well, to the point where I'm very curious to see how this mix is potentially going to go with bringing more of this, live band, live drum kind of feel to it, adding that 80s style on top of, what you got going on right now that you've done in the past with the Medic Droid, in terms of having more of that electronica kind of feel to it. So there's a lot of potential in there where things can be mixed, and that mix is already kind of, it's like a friendly mix already. It's just, how you going to master that friendly mix?
Right. It's, I mean, like I said, a lot of our older stuff was still influenced by 80s vibe, obviously, but I think I definitely dove into it a lot more with the new record that I'm working on. So I'm really excited about it.
Well, if you think about it too, it's a lot of that electronica kind of style too. I mean, a lot of it really really got more popular in the 80s, especially with the synthesizer really becoming more of a prominent piece in recording music. So a lot of that influence, again, from any kind of that style, is going to end up being derived from the 80s at some point.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Now there's just my brain starting to wrap around now I got to get big brain moment in music policy, while I've took a couple shots to the head yesterday. So somehow I'm still functioning here. So woo!
Oh, heck yeah, man.
just having a good time with it. But now with this new music coming out, potentially coming out as well, like sometime, who knows when exactly. I mean, I'm not, if you can't say when, I'm not going to ask you when, but when it does come out, it's going to be interesting to see, you know, especially first kind of new music in overall quite a while to see all of a sudden a lot of the old fans, it's like, they remember the Medic Droid, like, oh shit, there's new stuff? What? And then just like jump on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, I hope people are stoked on it. I think I just hope there's not a lot of expectation of, you know, like I think I have a lot of people that write me and really like the aspect of like, I guess that kind of trancy element that the old Medic Droid had, you know, that like straightforward, you know, trance kind of techno vibe, I guess. And it's a little, I've kind of veered a little bit away from that. So I guess not completely, but you know, just gotten a little bit more creative with it. You know what I mean? I guess.
Yeah, because, well, think about this too. If you would have just, you know, worked on new music, but you would have just gone straight forward with that exact same style once again, you would have come out with it, and a lot of the old fans would have been just, you know, very into it, but it would have kind of, especially for Medic Droid going forward, could have put you kind of like in this singular lane as like, okay, you know, after, what is it, like 13, 14 years, kind of the same stuff over again, kind of expecting that, but you're going to be able to branch out a little bit more while still in that kind of trance feel to it. You're going to show a lot more diversity in the music, and it's going to just potentially hit not only the old audience as much as they had liked it, but reach a wider array for audience as well. To all of a sudden, next thing you know, I'm going to see a tour in 2023, and all of a sudden I'm going to look at the list, and all of a sudden, wait, the Medic Droid is on here? Alrighty, get out the credit card. We're going to get a ticket for that one.
Heck yeah. No, I think you pretty much nailed it. Like, I hope that a lot of the older Medic Droid fans are just open-minded to it, because it's not, you know, it's not completely different, but it's definitely a more evolved, like more mature sound, I guess you could say.
And that's nothing wrong either. I mean, take a look at a lot of the bands that have, you know, evolved over the years. I know we had talked about it just quickly before we started, but like thinking about Bring Me the Horizon for an example, they're not the same band right now that made Count Your Blessings back in 2006.
Right.
Like, you just look at what they're doing. It's like they're experimenting so much more with so many different styles, so many different ideas. And it's still, you look at it, it's like, this is all still Bring Me the Horizon. There's no doubt about it, but it just helped them like just expand a lot further to become just like one of the biggest bands in the world, instead of, you know, potentially just that like a deathcore band that, you know, was popular in the 2000s that people forgot about.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think like it's like that fine line, because you want to give your fans what they originally fell in love with. You know what I mean? But as an artist, it's like how much can you really rehash the same things? You want to grow as an artist too. So there's always like that fine line. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like as a fan of music and also as a musician, it's like I want to do things like you said, Bring Me the Horizon. They already put out like the heavy stuff and like, you know, but now they're like experimenting with more things, and it's still heavy, but you know, yeah, pretty much what you said. It's like you want to grow, but you also want to like give the people what they like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like again, I'll bring the Horizon. Their post-Human Survival or EP from 2020 was like the perfect example of that, where they threw in a lot of different influences in there. And someone like myself, I like a lot more of that metalcore style they had on 2013 Sempiternal. So I'm like, I'm waiting for something that's gonna be like that. That's like that kind of crazy. All of a sudden, I hear the track Kingslayer featuring Baby Metal. I'm like, holy shit, this is exactly what I was looking for. And then they got other tracks on there that incorporate, you know, other artists and their kind of stuff. There's a track that literally follows like a follow up to like Linkin Park. It's just like, oh shit, okay, you know, just there's something there at the core of those songs that really makes it for that band. So you know it's them, even though they're going in a different array. So for the Medic Droid, I'm hoping that, you know, on this new record, when people listen to it, they find that core feeling that the original stuff really brought to them. So then this new stuff, they can still connect with it, but then be open to everything else that's going to be put in there, everything else that's going to be on there creatively, all these different like diversifying styles of music that you're going to be influenced by to put into these tracks to really open up yourself as a musician creatively.
Right. And I think like, fortunately, music has come such a long way. Like, you know, I think in the past, you know, some people might just be into like this genre and this genre, you know what I mean? But like looking what happened with like EDM and hardcore and just all the things like pop. Every it seems like a lot of artists are just throwing in hip hop, EDM, like you know what I mean, just everything. And a lot of people are really receptive to it. It seems like so that's a good thing too because you can put out a record, you know, where you have some more 80s synthwave sounding songs, and then you have some songs that are a little more heavy and maybe straightforward, like you know what I mean.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, another band that I really like to listen to and a band I love to go and see live is Falling in Reverse. And just thinking about all the different kind of styles that they've put in over the past, like, God, how many years? I mean, listen to like Popular Monster where it has this darker, like, hip hop rap tone to it. And all of a sudden it goes into more of this flowing post hardcore feel. Then you get this absolute brutal metalcore bridge and breakdown. And it all flows together. And I've still seen people put up reaction videos to it from like, oh, hip hop heads react to it, rappers react to it. So you're seeing a lot more people. And again, you're seeing more people in the music world as well, combining a lot of these different ideas in terms of, like you said, EDM, hip hop, rap. They're putting more of this like mixing hard rock, metal, post-hardcore, you're mixing the hardcore music as well, and just seeing how the creativeness is really coming off it. Hell, the band Alpha Wolf and the band Holy Absence, two completely different bands in the rock and metal spectrum, put out a split EP recently, and I mean, it sounds fantastic. I never thought those two would go together, but mixing like more emotional post-hardcore with just hardcore metalcore, god damn, it worked.
Hell yeah, I haven't checked that out. I will have to check it out, but yeah, like it's crazy, man. It's awesome to see that people are just like you said, experimenting so much with all different styles. Like I remember like when Skrillex came out, and even a little bit before that, like getting into dubstep. You know, growing up being into like punk rock and like rock and you know like emo and you know post hardcore and all that stuff. But like then getting real into like electronic music. But then when like I started getting into drum and bass and like dubstep and stuff like that around that era when Skrillex came out and you know Dat Sick and all that stuff. And now it's just like a free for all. Like everybody's just, you know what I mean? Like at that point, like right when Skrillex came out, I was like, I want to do something where there's screaming, but still like heavy, like dubstep basses with like, you know, metal riffs and just all that stuff. But now it's like, you know, I remember when I had that idea, I was like, this is like some new shit. But now I look at it, I'm like, dude, people are just all over the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you needed something like that to just get those ideas right in the brains of literally every musician. Like, you know, maybe we could try something with this. And now you're seeing so many different like cross experimental styles, which just makes music more unique and just gives more opportunity for artists to express themselves, to create this whole different brand of music and just really start something that can connect with a lot of people. Like, this is another example I like to use. Think about metal like in the 70s and 80s. All of a sudden, Metallica comes out with their style, thrash metal. Yeah, no one had ever heard of thrash metal before, but now take a look at Metallica now as the biggest metal band ever. It's like, if you're going to be able to experiment with something, mix a lot of different influences together and create something of your own, that's when you start to see bands like really rise top. Of course, you're going to have those detractors that are like, oh, I don't like this. This is new. Bah. But you're people that really like it, and all of a sudden it's just going to start rising and rising and rising because it's fresh, it's unique, and it's yours because you're the one that came up with it, created it, and it doesn't really sound like anyone else. Of course, there'll be other people that are going to do similar things as well, but if you can be the one that like really takes hold of it and really creates that thing, and when you have the idea, my God, it takes you off, but also it helps it influence other people to be just as creative or try new things at the same time in the music scene.
That's exactly what I was just gonna say. Like I feel like so many people like try to create subgenres with every little new you know influence or like you know whatever's brought to the table. But like you said, so many people, like someone could come up with an idea like say mixing dubstep with like post hardcore, and then there's going to be a bunch of other artists are like, hell yeah, but check this out, what about this? So you know what I mean? And so it's like so many things happening so fast. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, it is when you get like that one, like get that first instance of, you know, someone mixing like use post-hardcore and dubstep, mixing that together, and all of a sudden another artist is like, hey, that's cool, but this is what we came up with, and all of a sudden just these different ideas just flow, and all of a sudden, you know, with cooperation with a lot of people experimenting with this stuff, trying new things, and bands that are working on this stuff, supporting each other and doing this creative process, that's when all of a sudden these movements start, and, you know, this kind of music just shoots through the roof. Perfect example is new metal in the mid to late 90s. All of a sudden, it's a lot of bands at least trying to do something like that. All of a sudden, bands are supporting bands like Chord and like Limp Bizkit, and all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, here we go. And then all of a sudden, here comes Slipknot and just takes over everything. It's just like, yep, that's what cooperation does when it comes to experimentation. That shit.
Hell yeah, it's awesome to see though, because you were kind of saying, like, if you go back to like the early 90s, I feel like not everybody, but a lot of people were stuck in like what they liked. If they liked punk rock, they didn't like hip hop. If they liked hip hop, they didn't necessarily, typically, you know what I mean? But now it's like so all over the place and everybody's more open-minded, and it's good to see that, you know what I mean? Like that kind of experimental and like open-mindedness, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. However, I do still think that there is a good majority of people out there that, like, when they listen to music, it's like they like one specific kind of music and they don't want to deviate from it. And if, like, say it's an artist that they really like and they deviate from that norm, all of a sudden it's just like, oh my God. Like, of course, you're still going to have people that are like that, where any small change into something that they like, it's just like, must resist change. Ah!
I don't know. Yeah, I get that. I think some of it maybe I'm wrong, but I think maybe some of it has to do with age. Because when I was younger, like I liked a lot of stuff. I liked, like, you know, new metal and stuff like that. But primarily I was like, when I was real younger, like I was real into like pop punk bands, you know what I mean? And if it didn't sound like a pop punk band, like I typically wasn't that interested in it, you know what I mean? And as I got older, like, and got more into singing and playing instruments, that's what kind of like opened me up. But I think I've also met a lot of younger kids that are just right off the bat into a lot of different styles. So I don't know. I can't really say if it's one or the other, but I know for me, it was like, as I got older, I got more open-minded. You know what I mean?
I think that is one thing that does happen too, just because as you get older, it's like you just end up experiencing more. You just end up seeing more things and kind of seeing that variety. Like the classic saying, variety is the spice of life. So you get a more open mindedness to go check things out, or like going to live shows and just seeing some of these opening bands, or seeing bands on the bills that are like, okay, this does not make any sense at all for this band to be on the bill, but just in terms of stylistic choices. But sometimes it ends up absolutely working out, and you get into a different kind of music based off of that. I mean, that's what happened to me. It was a Knocked Loose Kubla Khan tour. So I'm expecting hardcore throwdown, everyone going nuts. In between those two bands with Knocked Loose headlining, the direct support for Knocked Loose was the pop punk band Movements. Now that doesn't make any sense, but like if you're in the crowd there and all of a sudden Movements comes on and everyone's just vibing with it, now, you know, you're vibing with it too. As much as these hardcore kids are starting to like vibe with it, just have fun with it. And next thing you know, all of a sudden people are going home after the show. It's like, yeah, you know Kubla Khan. Yeah, you know Knocked Loose. But you're probably going to go and check out some Movement stuff and be open to seeing what else is going to come off of that because of this positive experience you had, because you were open to accepting that kind of music at that point in time and just seeing what happened. And all of a sudden you had a blast with it. Just that positive experience of having that variety there just adds so much more to, you know, being open to different types of experimentation in music and different styles that are going to be coming out.
I totally agree. I definitely agree. Like you said, you could see a band, like you could totally be like against a certain, you know, style of music. You might think so, but then like you said, you see a band and you just the way they perform and their style, and you're like, actually, that's pretty dope. Like I had a similar experiment when I was younger. I was like, I think I was seeing Newfound Glory in Midtown at the Nile Theater in Arizona, and like Thrice opened up.
Oh,
and I was like, at the time I was not really into like a lot of screaming music, you know, like when I was at that age. And like after watching them, I was like, that's pretty badass though. And then like I think a couple months later, maybe a year later or something, I saw the band Finch, and I was like, that's when like it just opened up a whole like floodgate for me. I like got more open-minded and got real into a lot of different things. So I totally agree.
I had something similar happen to me when it came to just like ever since when I was a kid growing up, like going through high school, colleges, I still loved hard rock, punk rock, everything around there. But if it had like the unclean vocal style in there, I really kind of pulled away from it. The only one I really liked was when Chester Bennington would do it with Linkin Park. Like that was the only one that I connected with. Then all of a sudden I started trying to do something in music for myself, and it was like late 2018, and Architects had released the Holy Hell album, and I saw an ad for it on Facebook. I'm like, okay, let's check this out, just see what it is. And there was something about trying to go through it and really look at the lyrics, everything, and just seeing how the emotion came out of the unclean vocals. I'm just like, okay, now I'm starting to be open to this and get this. 2 months later, 3 months later, Friend tells me to start listening to Motionless in White, just see what happens. I listened to Eternally Yours, and that was it. I was fucking hooked at that moment. Just like the combination of everything, and all of a sudden, now it's just, you know, if it's got unclean vocals there, I'm like, oh, give me.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome.
But again, always being open to the experience and being open to variety at the same point in time as well, because you might like it or you might not like it. But it's kind of the same thing as this always looking at, you know, the best answer you can get on something is yes. Like if you try something and you like it, best answer you can get is yes. The second best answer you can get is no, because even if you don't like it, at least you tried it and now you're sure. The last thing you want to do is be like, oh no, I don't really want to like it or don't want to listen to it. Have you ever listened to it? No, I just don't want to try it. But you don't know exactly what's going to happen. You might be missing out on a band that's going to become your favorite band of all time just from, you know, just being like, it's not exactly what I want it to be right now. So yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, it's just, there's people that just, you know, just aren't open that way. And, you know, if that's the way it is. What can you say?
Yeah.
It's the way it is. But I do want to jump into something that's very important on this podcast, which is the fact that the Medic Droid is playing day 2 of the When We Were Hungry Music Festival. So, Chris, whenever I've been having bands on the podcast that are on the When We Were Hungry bill, I like to ask this question first off, which is, how did it come to be that you are going to be on this bill for When We Were Hungry? Like, what was the whole entire story behind it? Because everyone's story is completely different. I love hearing all of them.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm good friends with Mal, so she just hit me up and she asked me if I wanted to play it. So I was like, yeah, you know. At first, I didn't know if she was really, because I think it started off as like a meme, right? And then so I didn't know if she was really gonna do it, or if it was just an idea and she was just asking me in case it did, you know, come about. But, you know, I started seeing more and more. I mean, I think she told me, I was like, well, who's gonna play it? And she told me one of the bands was Mess, and I was like, all right, well, if Mess is playing it, then I'm totally down. You know, total fan kid. But yeah, it's just evolved, and it's crazy how it's just seeing like how much work they've put into it and seeing it grow like that. I'm stoked to be a part of it.
Absolutely. I mean, from when the first meme came out, literally just under 9 months before the festival's actually supposed to happen, like that's when it started. All of a sudden, just seeing it like go blow up in that way is absolutely insane. And I always love hearing about how people got on there, because it's either, you know, people are friends, people know Will, people know Mal, or just like all of a sudden all these different connections. And it's just kind of cool to see how many different styles of music are going to be at this one festival, kind of bringing it all together. And I was talking with Joey from the band Outlier, because they're on, I believe it's on day 2 as well. He's like, yeah, you can be going from like crying emo style in the pit, like one set. Then you can go throw down and just like go absolutely nuts in a pit like the next set. And you can go to like a dancey vibe the next set. You never know what's going to happen. It's going to be like Warped Tour all over again.
It's going to be a lot of fun, I think, honestly. I'm super stoked.
So how about this? Out of all the bands that are like also on the bill as well, what band are you most excited to see? Because that's always another question like that. So like, see what people are like, oh my God, even though I'm on the bill and playing, I really want to see this band play live.
Honestly, I don't know, man. There's so many good ones. I'm stoked to see a lot of them. Like I said, I think one of my favorite ones have to be like Mess, though. I'm super excited to see them. Second, what's that?
No, continue. My bad.
I was gonna say, is it Secondhand Serenade? Aren't they? They're gonna be there, right?
Yeah, they're headlining day 2.
Okay, that'll be pretty dope.
Say if you're lucky too, if it ends up happening, you might end up getting a chance to, you know, have yourself a full-on burger made by John from Secondhand Serenade. You might do a little guest spot on a grill somewhere and be like, okay, now I gotta go there. I gotta go get that burger because.
What is he? Does he make burgers or what?
Well, when I had him on the podcast, like he was like, yeah, there's a whole entire thing with food involved. He's like, and he loves to cook. So he's like, what if I just like, they gave me a flat top, I did a guest spot and I cooked for an hour. Like awesome. All the emo kids would be like, I want to get a burger I want to get the saddest burger ever from John.
That would be pretty awesome, actually. Hell yeah.
I mean, you never know. I sent everything over to Will and Mal. I'm like, you know, maybe we can get this done. You know, maybe you can get a flat top for him. Do I need to somehow get a flat top out there to Vegas? Do I need to haul it all the way from Milwaukee there? I don't care. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out something.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome.
But why Mess overall is like the one that you really want to see?
I just really like that band. Just a huge influence on me. So I've never actually seen them play. So I'm stoked to see them.
It's like, oh my God, I finally get a chance to see them.
Heck yeah.
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 So then with you guys, are you guys going to be out there for both days of the festival, just enjoying day one, playing day two and just enjoying everything out there that the weekend has to offer? Is this going to be like, okay, we're coming in on Friday. It's the only day we were able to come in and we're just going to, make it a whole 1 day extravaganza of just awesomeness?
No, we're gonna be playing, but then I'm also gonna be doing like a guest DJ set for the after parties for both nights. So I'm stoked on that. I'll probably end up doing like a couple original songs and maybe a cover.
And maybe a cover. Now, what kind of cover are you alluding to, sir? Because now I'm curious.
Well, I've never actually played the Madonna cover that we did, so I might actually, we'll see how things go. I had a
Ooh.
request, so I was like, all right, see.
Hey, if you got a request, I mean, maybe make it work in there, especially when we're talking about, new music, kind of bringing some more of that 80s influence in there. A Madonna cover, this might just work out perfectly as kind of bringing that whole entire vibe there. Plus, think about it, after party DJ set. Everyone's going to be like already like fully amped up after, throwing down, having a good time, eating as much good food as possible. All of a sudden, after party style, everyone's going to be feeling that dancey kind of mood, throw something on like that. We're going to enjoy it.
Hell yeah. It'll be fun, man. I'm super stoked.
Say for those after parties, I'm expecting kind of like in like one of those like emo night feels where all of a sudden you're gonna get like DJ sets of like people playing like, yo, we're gonna get some post hardcore stuff in here, we're gonna get some pop punk stuff in here, maybe some metalcore stuff just for fun, and like throwing some like random different things in there just out of nowhere, see what happens. Because you might go from people just kind of vibing and dance, all of a sudden the next person, like whoever's got the next spot, comes on. First thing they do is play Downfall of Us All by a Day to Remember, and all of a sudden everyone's going from this dancey vibe to all of a sudden just boom, mosh pit time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny you say that because I was like, I don't really know what to expect because it's gonna be like punk rock and then there's, gonna be like emo and so yeah, and like I said, I got the request to do the Madonna cover, so I'm like, how are we gonna work all this in there? But we're gonna figure it out.
I mean, you've got less than 2 months to figure, or a little more than 2 months figured out. You got this, man. It's not,
Right.
you've got time to plan this out all in your head and just be like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. Maybe I'll do this during this song at this point in time. I'm really going to jump off stage and try and crowd surf and see what happens with a bunch of kids and just, and a bunch of adults and see what happens. And you never know. Well, as long as we don't end up like, missing the catch and you end up on the floor, like, passed out like Jack Black at the beginning of School of Rock, then I think we're doing our job.
That actually happened to my old band member. We were touring with Kill Hannah and like we were like, all right, we're gonna run out there during their set and we're gonna jump off into the crowd and like and we were like, I think Hector, my old band member, he was in his booty shorts. And we run out there right while they're playing and we jump out in the crowd. But for some reason, he jumped into the middle where there was no people and just boom. I think he ended up smashing this poor girl. Oh man, I was like, why didn't you jump to the side? But yeah,
Hey,
hopefully that doesn't happen.
hopefully it doesn't happen, but maybe the booty shorts will come back out because it's gonna be in Vegas. It's gonna be warm. You're gonna want those booty shorts. Get that airflow going to stay cool, to stay dry.
Right? Yeah, the shorts are coming back, man.
Oh God, yeah. All of a sudden, I'll be out there. It's like, okay, what kind of shorts you going with? They're a little short. Well, why are you going those short? They got the zip up pockets, man. Nothing's falling in my pockets in these pits. That's the way to go for a festival.
Hell yeah, you gotta get the fanny pack, dude.
I can't do the fanny pack. It's just not my style.
Yeah,
It just
it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody.
Nah, it just doesn't fit with my hips. It just doesn't really work. And also because like I go to concerts all the time. I love jumping in mosh pits, and it's just the last thing I want to do is like have this fanny pack swinging around. All of a sudden, it ends up getting ripped. It gets detached, and all of a sudden, okay, and I'm trying to find this thing the rest of the show, and all of a sudden I'm out my wallet, my keys, my phone. Those are pretty much the three things I'm out. But those are pretty important things because then now I can't call a ride to get home. I can't find my car, and I can't pay for anything because everything is gone.
Yeah, that's true. You can fit a lot of things in there, though, man. I haven't in a while, but I used to rock a fanny pack for a while, dude. And you'd be amazed how many things you can fit in a fanny pack.
So if you can recall, like, what was like the most filled you ever had a fanny pack with, and like, how would you all fill it with? Because I mean, fanny packs are coming back; they're a big thing now. It's just you got to hear from an expert. Like, how do you properly pack a fanny pack?
I honestly, I don't know, man. Like I just kept putting shit in there, and it always seemed to fit like more than a purse. I mean, I never really carried a purse around, but I feel like you could just keep putting things in a fanny pack, and somehow it'll work its way to fitting in there. You know.
It's gonna like slowly just get bigger and bigger and bigger, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, we gotta fit something else in here. I don't know what we're gonna fit in there. So we're gonna fit a phone, we're gonna fit this water bottle, we're gonna fit the Declaration of Independence that I got from Nick Cage. Let's see what else is there. I've got the entire discography from Sleeping with Sirens on CD. We're gonna put that in there. So I got some room for a couple of things, guys. You know, anybody want a Twinkie?
Exactly, man.
Oh man, I mean, I'm kind of expecting during the We're Hungry Fest, all of a sudden you're gonna come out on stage and have like the biggest fanny pack possible, just because of this.
I lost mine. I had one. It was just like a black one, but I lost it, and I haven't worn one since though. But I need to get another one because I think my favorite one was the we had some pink ones made. Medic Droid had some pink ones, like bright pink ones made a long time ago, and I used to rock that shit like all the time, and that was like my favorite thing. And I think I lost that too, but maybe I just need to get some more printed for Medic Droid just so I can have a bright pink one.
And then bring them to the merch table as well for We Are Hungry. I mean, the amount of people that are gonna see a bright pink fanny pack is gonna be like, oh my god, I need that.
Right? Maybe we'll see. That'd be a good idea, actually.
Maybe, and then all of a sudden, you'll like during some other band, all of a sudden you'll see me in the pit. It's gonna be like, oh hey, look, it's Kevin. Wait, why does he also have a pink fanny pack? No,
that'd be awesome. Yeah.
So what's in there, Kevin? Well, my phone and my wallet, my keys in my pocket. What's in there? All of a sudden, it's like I'm in the pit. And I just pull out pancakes. I just put pancakes in there.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Pull out a little jar of maple syrup from the other pouch. It's just like
they said it all in there.
Hey man, hashtag pancakes in the pit. Like, I'm taking this serious. I was looking for a way to get pancakes in there. The bright pink fanny pack from the Medic Droid might be the perfect way to go about it.
I'll get on it, dude. I'll get on it.
Oh, perfect. And then next thing you know, all of us in the pit are going to be having those bright pink fanny packs just full of pancakes and just going to be absolutely wild. We're going to be throwing those things around. We're going to make it, instead of making it rain dollar bills in the club, we're making it rain pancakes in the pit, just like flapjack style, baby.
I could see the backlash already, dude. Like, person slipped on pancake and caused an avalanche, and just like not cool, dude. Who the hell brought pancakes?
The thing is we'll be the ones bringing pancakes, and the one that's going to slip on a pancake is going to be me, and it's just like, well, this is wrong. It's like, oh, is the person mad at me? Like, person was me that accidentally slipped on the pancakes. I knew the risk that I was going into when I brought the pancakes in the pit. Yeah, I'm not saying anything outside that. Oh, are you mad? No, it was fun. We literally moshed with breakfast.
That'd be pretty awesome, dude. Hell yeah.
I mean, next thing you know, people are going to end up like going to the bar, and instead of getting a beer, they're going to try and get maple syrup, and they're going to try and chug it Super Trooper style.
Just chugging pancakes.
Oh, man. There's another idea. I have to send to Will and Mal. All right, we need to get a full pancake bar, but we need a maple syrup station, and we need just a giant picture of the Super Trooper scene when they're chugging the maple syrup, just so everyone gets into it, and all of a sudden you're going to start hearing, chug, 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 all the way in the background.
Just like everybody throwing up on each other.
Oh, that's going to be one. Well, I'll put it this way. No one's really going to slip at that point because it's just going to be really, really sticky. You won't be able to slip, but you might not be able to move.
Oh, man.
Oh, dear God. What did we just create with that? Like, all of a sudden, you guys are going to be playing your set. Next thing you know, there's going to be a big, giant pit in the middle. We're just going to be dancing, having a good time, and the pancakes and the syrup are going to be flowing. Then all of a sudden, like towards the end of the set, you guys are not going to see us move very much. Like, what's going on? We're stuck to the floor, Chris.
Everybody's just like rubbing their stomach, like
just like.
So it's kind of like at that Warped Tour vibe where you're trying to dance, but you're about to pass out too,
Yeah, but this time it's not because of the heat or lack of food. It's because of too many pancakes.
Right.
Yeah. Well, well, let me ask you this too, just because like we were just like bringing up the Warp Tour kind of vibe of it. Is did you in the past, like with the Medic Droid, did you guys play Warp Tour back in the day?
I think we did play one Warp Tour in Arizona. I think so. I'm pretty sure we did. But
Like,
I could be wrong. It could have been Edge Fest because they were it was pretty much the same thing, you know. They always had like the same bands, but I think it was a Warp Tour.
I'll say because if you can remember like what it was like kind of like that whole entire vibe of it, like just with how many bands were there, kind of the people that were there, the experience, the whole entire emotion around there. Do you see something similar to that happening with when we were Hungry Festival, just given the lineup and given the kind of the DIY style of putting this all together from Will and Mel and the rest of the team, just kind of the fact that this started out as a meme and is now a full-fledged festival, just kind of that whole entire, that whole entire emotion and whole entire vibe around the Warp Tour. Do you kind of see that happening here?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, kind of. It's like it'd be like I said, seeing all the bands that are on it. It's pretty awesome to see that many good artists on one bill. And I was thinking that the other day. I was like, it'd be cool to see him do it again, like make it a like every year thing.
I think that's kind of the idea that this kind of evolved into, because meme all of a sudden to turn into a festival, and just seeing kind of how it's taken off and seeing how many bands are on this bill, but also just the variety of music around there. And constantly seeing people have been talking about Warped Tour since 2018. Like, when's it coming back? We need something like this. Like, this might be the thing right here.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Honestly,
it would be. Just all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're going to take it out on the road. They're going to start like having the full entire Warped Tour thing. And next thing you know, we're going to be sitting there like, they fucking did it, man. They did it with a meme and pancakes. That's how they pulled this off.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that'd be really cool to see. Honestly, that's what I was thinking.
Well, and then to add on to that too, just to kind of bring back that kind of idea and bring back that kind of style, just like we were talking about earlier with how many bands are just blending so many different genres. Now, if we kind of get something like this, where we're bringing so many other bands onto, a same kind of festival as well, like with when we were Hungry is doing, just seeing, bands that are, coming back, just coming like kind of the blast from the past kind of stuff. And a lot of these newer artists, you never know what ideas might come up. You never know what potential collaborations might come up, what potential influences might be there to literally just take this thing off. And we might all of a sudden get the next like King for a Day, like again, King Faye Piercevale and Kellen Quinn. We might get something similar to that, like all of a sudden two random bands you never thought were going to get together. All of a sudden, like, oh shit, they get together, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, we get the emo anthem for the 2020s.
Hell yeah. No, I think it's great to be honest. For example, like Medic Droid I wasn't really going to bring Medic Droid back. And because she asked me to do it, that's kind of what sparked that, you know, coming back. And so I think you probably see a lot of that, hopefully, from different bands that are going to be on it that are like, all right, we'll put out a new record, and, just seeing a lot of cool new music come from that, like you were saying.
Yeah, that's something that, we're all really hoping for too, just to see how many of these bands from the past that, that Will and Mel and everyone else from the team have known. It's like, hey, you guys want to play this? Bring it back, and just kind of reigniting that passion, reigniting that spirit, reigniting that just determination and that just influence. Like, okay, let's give this another shot. Let's see what happens. Maybe we were on the shelf for 5, 10, 15 years. Who knows? Or even like with some of the younger bands too, this might be the one, this might be like that festival where it's like, okay, now we're able to get out in front of even more people than we had in the past, and a wider audience when it comes to the style of music that's going to be played in a way that we might never have been able to before. So it's kind of like, this is the festival that's going to be the one where if you want to show what you got, this is the one. If you're like, we're going to come back and just like give it a shot on something like this and just see what the reaction is like, this is the one to do it at. Again, kind of bringing that Warped Tour vibe back. Man, it's perfect.
Definitely. I totally agree.
We just need to make sure that it's successful, man. Just need to make sure that's
I think it definitely will be, man, with all the artists that are playing it. And like I said, and like you said, like reigniting that passion in people, because like I said, the music that I've been working on, I was going to use for a different project, and just getting excited about playing this festival and being like, you know what, I'll just release it as a new Medic Droid record. And that's like gotten me all stoked and excited about music again, honestly, because I haven't played shows in a long time. So I was like, you know what, So yeah, definitely. I think I see that happening with other artists as well, you know?
So when was your last show? Like that was prior to like what's gonna be happening with Me Or Hungry. Like, what was the actual last show for the Medic Droid?
I can't remember. I know I want to say it was like 4 or 5 years ago. We did like a little East Coast run with the Bunny the Bear. And then I think that was probably the last thing. I did like an emo night in New York, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, but it was just, just DJing songs. So yeah, I think like officially like a show was probably 4 or 5 years ago.
It's quite a while, but since you were
Yeah.
last back up on stage, are there's any potential, any potential nervousness or any potential anxious feels or jitters that you might be feeling like, preparing to go up on stage once again for the first time in the past 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, I think I always get that vibe, like, no matter like, even when I was like consistently touring back in the day, like always there's always like that nervousness because every crowd's different. But um I don't know. I think it's also like one of those things, like it's not to sound like cheesy, but it's kind of like riding a bike. You know what I mean? Like you could be so nervous even up to the moment where you come out on stage, and then right when you walk out on that stage, it hits you, and you're like, all right, I got this. You know what I mean? I don't know. For me, anyways.
And honestly, when I've been talking with artists like around that, not just like coming back from, a long break like that, but every single artist coming back from the pandemic, it was like, what was that first show like? And everyone's kind of talking about, you're going to be nervous. You're going to have those jitters before it happens because you don't know, like, is everyone going to be receptive to it? Or people going to be out there? What's it going to be like? Do I remember how to do this stuff? Like your head's just rambling through all these different thoughts. Then what I've heard from them is like they've gone out there and maybe the longest they have those jitters for is for the first song, and that's it. Maybe the whole just because after you get one song in under your belt, it's like, okay, we still know how to do this. The feeling's back, the vibe is back, and now all of a sudden, let's just roll with this and let's just have some fun.
Definitely, definitely. It's like I don't know. I guess what it reminds me of is like if you're like, for me anyways, when I was younger, you'd be like a class clown or something. Like you might like after you get a few jokes out there and everybody's laughing, like it's on. You know what I mean? Like you just own it. You know what I mean? I feel like that's how it is playing shows. Like you could be nervous, but then once you get out there and you start performing, you're like, the energy just connects, I guess.
Yeah, and kind of, coming back when doing it at When We Were Hungry, just with the idea around the festival, just the overall emotion that's around there, I think you're going to get to that point where all of a sudden you get up on stage and, like, you might have the jitters, like, the first, like, 30 seconds or something, and all of a sudden then you're going to see the crowd interact and having fun with it. And then it's like, okay, I got this. And then you're just going to
Right.
get roll. Confidence is going to build. And next thing you know, you're going to be playing that last song and you're just going to get up and just jump out into the crowd and we're all going to be like, we got you, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately, like that's the most important thing to remember for me, anyways. Like, is that like anytime I get nervous, I'm like, well, at the end of the day, everybody came to have a good time, so like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, who goes to shows or any kind of live show and just goes there and is like, I'm just going to be the most miserable person ever at this show.
Right? I mean, maybe if your friend dragged you, and
Yeah, but maybe if your friend dragged you, maybe there's a reason they brought you with. Maybe there's one of the bands and the bills that you like. Well, I took one of my friends and it was like this was September of 2021 for Summerfest here in Milwaukee because it was a bunch of bands that were playing there that would never play there ever again. But it was like the warm up for them to get back out on the road for the last part of 2021. All of a sudden, it's like she wasn't into a lot of the music that I liked. All of a sudden, we were disc golfing a lot, and she started liking some of the stuff that I had. I'm like, all right, let's go to Summerfest. Let's enjoy. She's like, well, what days are we going? We're going this 2 days, Friday and Saturday. Who's headlining? First day is Falling in Reverse. Second day is Rise Against. You're coming with me, and you're going to enjoy this stuff. My God, after that set for Falling in Reverse, she's just like, I need more of this. Like, show me more of this stuff. Please, please, please. I'm like, and that's why I drank you to shows.
that's awesome, man. I can't imagine missing out on that for all those years, and then just being like introduced to like that kind of music and being like, oh.
It's like a transcendence experience. Like when you get to like, you find the music that you really love and you're really connected with it. And all of a sudden there are people that are just like, oh, not really into it. You just kind of like, oh, maybe give this a shot. And they just have this like epiphany of like, I want to find out more about this. Like, give me more. And you're just like, I am now master. You are now my student. Let's have some fun. And it's just like, now try this, now try this, now try this. And next thing you know, you never know what's going to happen. I also know someone else that I've been hanging out with for a long while, for like, the past year. She never liked any of the stuff that I ever brought to the table ever. Then I showed her Electric Callboy, and now she's just like, I want more of this stuff. Like, this is too much fun. I'm just like, alrighty, here's this. She's like, I want more. She actually said, I want something that's a more dancey vibe. I'm like, Medic Droid, go!
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome. It's, I don't know. That would be crazy to that kind of makes me feel like I should branch out and listen to more different kinds of music now.
Well, yeah, I mean, just again, variety is the spice of life. My friends, like, they were like, okay, we're gonna try want to listen to some more alternative stuff. I'm like, well, you guys got the aux cord on this one, so let it roll. We'll see what happens. And there's some things I've listened to. It's like, if I don't like it, if I'm with my friends, I'll let it roll. I'll listen to it, because even if I'm not into it, if everyone else is into it, I'm not gonna be the one that's a wet blanket. But if all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's a little bit different, that's interesting, I'm gonna go and ask, like, hey, can you tell me what band this is so I can go look it up later?
Oh yeah, that's what's up, man.
Just being open to the experience, and all of a sudden, I'm pretty sure all of a sudden you're gonna be branching out and more stuff. And next thing I know, on that new Medic Droid record, all of a sudden, I'm gonna see some like absolute random influence in there out of nowhere. I'm like, where the heck did this come? Chris went and branched out and went into like some really interesting stuff, didn't he? All of a sudden, there's gonna be like some like Irish music like influence in there, and be like, Chris got drunk and was listening to Gaelic Storm. Wasn't that the case?
Yeah, I don't know. You never know, man. Just country dubstep, and is that a thing yet?
I don't know if it's a thing, but I mean, if you want to give it a shot, I'm pretty sure there'd be a lot of people that'd be like, huh? This doesn't, like, you get a lot of the country fans like, this don't make any sense. And all of a sudden you get some people that'd be like, oh, that's interesting. Let's listen to this more. And then next thing you know, you're going to be, if you do something like that, you're going to be opening the Brantley Gilbert 5-Finger Death Punch tour. For some random reason. It's like, okay, this fits. Let it roll.
That's great. I hope so.
So outside of When We Were Hungry Festival, do you guys have anything, planned for live shows beyond that? Or is it like, okay, we're going to see how this goes, release, the music that we're working on, and just kind of take it from there? Like, what's the overall mindset plan around that?
Pretty much, yeah. Like I thought about trying to set up some more shows, but I kind of just want to see how this is going to go, and just see how receptive people are, and try to focus more of my energy on like putting out a new record, and yeah, just kind of take it from there, and see how people feel about it. And then if the time comes, then yeah, set up some more shows.
That's not a bad way to go about it. Just especially like, you got the reignite passion for creating new music for the Medic Droid. You've got the We Were Hungry thing. Focus your energy on that kind of stuff, and then see what the reception is like, and see how you guys are feeling as well, especially after playing a live show and then doing with yourself, doing those guest DJ spots for the after party. See how everything's going, see where your energy is, see how, where your mental idea is around where you want to go forward with that, and then take it on. And don't overload at the same point in time as well, because especially in today's day and age, like, it's very easy to like overload yourself, and all of a sudden it's like, no, I've got too much, and then just like start resenting kind of that feel of like, I don't want to go out and tour right now, but you're still going to go out and do it. But it's just like, the passion isn't fully there. Like, you want to make sure that, when you're ready to go out and do stuff, it's like, we're into this shit. Let's go.
Yeah, no, exactly. I totally agree. It's like, I think the last time, I did some shows with the Medic Droid, and we did an Australian tour, and then we did that East Coast tour with the Bunny the Bear, and it was a lot of fun. It was really cool, and it was cool to see old Medic Droid fans come out. But I felt like at the time we really needed to be working on putting out a new record, and then push that by touring instead of the other way around. And I think we were eager to also play shows, but I think it would have been more beneficial to put out a record, like a record, or at least an EP, and then do that. You know what I mean? So, but that kind of got us sidetracked and then discouraged, I think. So then it kind of we didn't really do much from that point. And this time around, I want to do it, I want to do it a little bit better than that, and put music out first, and then tour.
And that makes absolute sense. And especially coming from past experience, from what you guys went through, a couple of years ago when you were touring with the Bunny the Bear, and just, touring with not really anything to, new album or new music to really go off of for that time, and just seeing how it felt. Now you're going to try and, do the reverse of that, see how everything goes. And again, you're just taking a look at what had happened in the past. You're using your self-awareness at that point to make the best decision for yourselves, so that in the end, this is your project, this is your guys' music, and you guys this is your livelihood. Like, this is what you want to be happy with. This is what you want to roll forward with. And the last thing you want to do is like create it into a situation where you're pushing everything so hard where you're not enjoying it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And not only that, but I think like the new music will attract a lot of new fans, and it'll show like, what Medic Droid was always capable of. Not that I don't appreciate the stuff that we created before and the fans that enjoy that, you know what I mean? But I also, like I said earlier, like I don't want to keep rehashing, like, for sure, you know what I mean? As cool and fun as that song was, like, I know there's so much more to offer, you know what I mean? And it's just like to tour without new stuff, it kind of locks you in that, you only get that, you know what I mean?
And best way to answer that is just, for sure, man. For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Chris. You set me up for that. I had to take it at least at one point in time. And
I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you.
But again, that makes a lot of sense, because when you guys come out with new stuff too, it's how are the fans going to be receptive to it? What types of music fans are going to be receptive to it? And then that might push you to take a look at opportunities to go and tour to reach those newer fans with different bands, with some different bills that you might not have ever thought about going on with. And then, of course, the old fans, hey, it's the first time we can see the Medic Droid in 5-6 years. Let's go out and see them. And then it opens up to the whole entire experience, the whole entire variety of what other new music you might be able to bring to the table with the bands that you're working, that your bands that you're playing with at that point in time, along with the influence that you've been working with for this new music. Like, there's a lot of potential there to really not only reach a lot of new fans from your perspective, but also when it comes to those older fans of the Medic Droid, to keep them, into the Medic Droid, but also kind of expand their horizons on, other new music that they might potentially like.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a great way to put it, honestly.
Gonna be like the music Sherpa for a lot of people at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be exciting, dude. I'm really stoked to get new stuff out, and you know what I mean? Just put out new music that I've been working on for a while.
So do you have any potential time frame of when this might come out? Again, if you don't have a specific date, if you can't say a specific date, don't say it. But I'm just looking for a little teaser right there.
I'm not too sure right now. I'm trying to get something out before the festival, because I plan on playing a couple new songs, and I just want to have people familiar with it so they can sing along. Because when you go to a show and a band plays new stuff, you're stoked on it, but you're also wanting them to get back to the stuff that so you can sing along to it. So I want to try to get at least 1 or 2 songs out before the festival.
Alrighty, so if everyone that's listening, make sure that you're looking out for those new songs from the Medic Droid, because then, if you're going to the We Were Hungry Festival, which you should be, then you can be in the crowd with us. You can sing along, and we can be dance and have a good time. You can have those, bright pink, the Medic Droid fanny packs, and we can just enjoy some pancakes in the pit.
Oh yeah. I didn't say we'll have them for sure this time around, but eventually.
I'm trying to speak it into existence, Chris, because I will actually wear one of those fanny packs if you guys print them, because I'll go to the merch and be like, they're there. Throw down money. Give me one of those. Sir,
I feel like now I have to have them printed. I feel like there's a lot of pressure now to have those done.
Just amped up the pressure. All of a sudden, it's like, we got a limited run of 20, and I go up there. It's like, oh, they already sold out. Damn it!
I'll save you one. I'll be sure to save you one.
Yes! Alrighty. So
fit your pancakes in.
Don't print 21. Print 21 of them. Get that one random extra one in there.
All right.
Fantastic. Well, Chris, as we bring this podcast to its conclusion, one thing I would like to do is give my guest, which is you in this case, a chance to say whatever you want to say, plug whatever you want to plug, promote whatever you want to promote at the end of the podcast. So, Chris, the floor is yours.
Honestly, man, I'm just stoked that you had me on. I'm grateful to be playing this, dude. I'll see everybody there, hopefully.
Perfect. Now it's time for me to end this podcast with 3 very separate things. So first things first, in talking with Chris from the Medic Droid, yeah, there's going to potentially be new music coming out before the festival. When We Were Hungry, October 20th and 21st. Don't forget that. So the best way to make sure you're in the know when this stuff happens is to follow along with them online, to make sure you're following along with them on your, preferred streaming service so you can stay connected with them. And also, just become more of a fan of the band and just really connect with them. So instead of having to search all this stuff up yourself, that's where I come in. This is where I'm doing you guys a favor. Go to the description of the podcast and say, find the Medic Droid online. Links for socials where you can listen to their music. If I can find some merch, boom, I'm going to put that link right there for you to go and get that merch. If I can find stuff for, anything on the Medic Droid, boom, go to the description of the podcast, find the Medic Droid online, links for everything, labels for all those links. So you have to click share, click subscribe, click listen, whatever it might be. I'm doing all the hard work for you. I'm doing all the searching. I'm taking, all the hard work. I'm giving you the convenience. Now act on that convenience and go follow along the Medic Droid so that when they drop that new music, oh yeah, you're not going to want to miss out on that. And get those When We Were Hungry tickets, please, because you want to see him play live, right? Oh yeah, you want to see Chris play live. Now, Chris, it's time for number 2. Whenever I have guests on the podcast, I enjoy having on the podcast. I always like to make a certain promise. And the reason I like to do that is because I love having guests on the podcast. This is like my favorite thing to do over the entire day. Like, I always look forward to this stuff. I can be dead tired. It's like I get to do stuff. I'm like, woo! Energy up. And it's my also way of saying thank you for being on the podcast and my way to say I'm going to continue to support the band in any way I can. So my promise to you is this. It normally starts out with when because I say it as when. It's going to happen, but to be determined. Now I'm going to say this at When We Were Hungry Festival because I'm going to be there. Chris, my promise to you is this. And that promise is first round's on me.
All right.
So hold me to it. I might, get that fanny pack and all of a sudden go to the bar and bring like 2 beers. Like, what's in there? Brought the beers, fanny pack style.
I'll save you a fanny pack.
Perfect. And trust me, there won't be any like, syrup residue on the beer at that point. I'll keep it clean up until then.
Oh man, I appreciate it, man.
You're very welcome. And now I cannot end this podcast by saying goodbye. I just can't do it for a number of reasons. One, goodbye is way too final. I don't like that. Secondly, I would love to have you back on the podcast again at some point in time. New music coming out from the Medic Droid, be able to bring you back on, talk about it, get more people into it. And well, I'm going to see you at When We Were Hungry Festival. So goodbye is way too final. No. Chris, we're going to end it like this. And I'm going to say, I'll see you later.
See you, man. Thank you so much for your time. It's a blast talking to you.
Yeah. Well, folks, that's my interview with Chris from the band The Medic Droid. Once again, they're going to be playing When We Were Hungry. Day 2 of the festival. Chris is going to be doing DJ sets at both night after parties. So make sure you get your tickets for When We Were Hungry Festival. Link description of the podcast. Come check out The Medic Droid on day 2. And be sure to follow along with them on social media because, and on your favorite streaming platform because there's going to be new music coming out at some point soon. You're not going to want to miss out on it. So be sure to go check that out because, man, who doesn't want more good new music? I mean, come on, variety's the spice of life. Get on it. Also, be sure to make sure you're following along with the Chord podcast online, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for all you TikTokers out there. You get all the crazy Chord podcasts up, the supercuts, the crazy short streams, whatever you want. We do it all. And make sure to subscribe to the Chord Progression Podcast. You'll be watching these podcasts on our YouTube channel, or you can listen to Spotify Podcast, iHeart Radio, Amazon, and wherever else you're going to be streaming these podcasts. Looks, I know we're a lot of different places. I just always use Spotify Podcast, iHeart Radio, Amazon, because those are the ones that I know the most. Also, if you are subscribed to this podcast, thank you. Seriously, thank you. I mean, this is the thing I look forward to the most in my day is being able to do these podcasts, connect to these artists, and just have fun. Music is like the biggest thing, like the most positive influence I have in life, and I can't get enough of it, and this just makes me incredibly happy. So the fact that you're supporting this, thank you. If you are now a subscriber to the podcast, I do want to say thank you to you as well. Thank you for joining along. If you are listening to this podcast and you're like, I don't want to subscribe, I'm going to first ask you to please reconsider. If you're like, nah, I really don't want to follow along, and I just like this one, that's fine. I want to say thank you for stopping by to the Chord Progression Podcast. Thank you for enjoying this episode. We hope to see you back in the future. You're always welcome back. So let's enjoy. Also want to remember to thank our support for this podcast. First off, Manscaped, 20% off and free shipping. Use the code CPP at manscaped.com and get those tickets for the When We Were Hungry Music Festival happening October 20th to 21st in Las Vegas, Nevada. Pancakes in the Pit, memes in the dreams. Come join us. Let's have some fun and get that pink fanny pack from the Medic Droid. you're going to want one of those. Thank you, Chris, for being on the podcast. I will see you at the When We Were Hungry Festival in October. So, everyone listening, hope to see you there too. On that note, that's going to be for me, guys. Thank you for watching, listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single one of these episodes of the Big, Healthy, and Hearty. See